Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we bring to you for the first time two people in the same confession as they both tells their side of the story. And this story involves a pastor who in his attempt to continue to remain powerful in his ministry contracted this woman who happens to be a midwife to secure him the body part of a dead baby. The question that I want to find out is that, for what reason will a pastor who is to preach or teach the word of God is seeking the body of a dead child for? This has been the very question that I have been asking myself since this story was laid to us by these people. Before we can talk about it, and what really happened between these two people and the pastor, let us go and listen to the story and I will come back after the story. But then, don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time, like and share this video so others can listen to it as well. And also hit the notification bell, so you will be notified anytime we upload videos of this nature.
Well, I am not doing this for any reason other than what my conscience tells me to do. Because for him to have made that approach alone tells me that this is certainly not the first time he is engaging in something of this nature. I am a midwife and I have been in this profession for more than 15 years now, and I have heard a lot of things about some of my colleagues from the general public. But I will say that, because I had not encountered any of such things, I kept on defending until this man approached me with such an offer. Me myself, I am a Christian and a very devoted one for that matter. But I guess when we wear our uniforms, our religious backgrounds and how well and devoted you are is not shown on you. But just the fact that you are a midwife who has come on duty to serve the general public who will be under your care. No, I don't know him, and I got to know him the very day I met the pastor. That was the same day I met him, and in fact he also came with the pastor. But honestly, he was not the one that talked to me. I think it was actually the second or the third time they came here that I spoke with him. But for the pastor, I only spoke with him once. And that was in his car, and even that one, I wasn't at work. It was one evening after I had closed from work that I got a call from the person that gave me their number. I honestly do not know why this lady gave them my number. Because she has not seen me do such a thing before. And that for me to be aware that that lady had also in one way or the other been a part of the process anytime they needed such a thing. And probably why she gave my number to them was that she had an issue with the management of the hospital and she was sanctioned for about 3 months or so if I remember correctly. So it was one of his boys that spoke with me in the first place. He called me and told me straight away that if I knew the pastor. I responded that, yes, I have heard of him, but I do not know him personally. He said that the pastor said he should send me some amount of money because in his revelation, he saw how good I was and dedicated to my work. And the Lord has instructed him to send me some amount of money in the first place. So after the call, I received the money and it was $250 equivalent in our Ghanaian currency. Because he had said it was God that directed him to give me the money, I was all happy and was praising him. Honestly, at that time, I needed the money so badly. I needed to sort some problems that I was going through back home. And this money came in at the right time to help me cover that. All this time, this man here has never been into the picture. It was just one phone call and the next thing was that I received the money. So what I did was that, the next day, I called the number back and asked if I could speak with the pastor. This guy told me that he is busy. I told him I was the one that he sent the money to the day before and I wanted to come and thank him. He said he was going to tell the pastor and will get back to me. So in about some few minutes, he called back and told me that the pastor said I can come to the office or church if I wanted to. I didn't see anything wrong with this whole thing, and so I went to his office. The time that I got there he seemed like he was about leaving or something like that, and so he asked me to get into his car so that we would talk. He asked the driver to get down when I got into the car. This he said it wasn't proper for him to be in the car whilst we talk. So I started by introducing myself to him as the person he sent the money to. Which he said was nothing because it was a direct thing that he had gotten and he needed to comply. I thanked him anyways, and when I was about leaving, he asked me how much is it that I am paid at the hospital that I am working. I looked back and smiled. I told him my payment and he said that I can get as much as 5 times that amount of money or even more if I wanted to get it. I was intrigued and I asked how that was going to be possible. He smiled and told me that he will have to meet me later because he is really late for an appointment, and so he will let one of his people get back to me for us to talk more about that. So the driver came and he offered to drop me off at a place where I showed him. When I was getting down that day, he also gave me another money. In fact, to tell you the truth, after that day, I told myself that I was going to go ahead and do whatever he would be asking me to do. Because even when I have not done anything for him, look at the money he was giving me. My first meeting with this man here, who also I believe is a pastor, is when the pastor that we are talking about called me and told me that one of his friend pastors would be coming to me for us to have a discussion. So that day when this man here came to me, I recognized him as someone I had seen that day that I went to meet the pastor. Because when the driver came back into his seat, this man here also got into the front passenger seat. So I recognized him when he got to me. We had a very brief chat. And he said that, this time this man sitting here, told me that the pastor who actually happens to be his friend needs my help. And he will be willing to pay me as much as $3,000 if I am able to help him in the way that he will be seeking my help. I asked about the money again and he repeated it. I was shocked, and I wondered what kind of help that will warrant that kind of money. So I asked him what really they wanted from me. So that was when he told me that there is something that they both as pastors needed.
So yes, that is what the deal was. It was something that all of us needed in order to be able to finish our ritual at that time. Now let me take you back so that you will understand this whole thing in a proper context. You see, as for my friend, he is someone who has some amount of money. Even though he is not extremely rich, but he is in a situation where he can say that he is living a good life. But he also is someone who is seeking control and power as a pastor. So we were introduced to this man who comes from Benin. And he told us that, to get such powers, we needed to get certain things for him to guide us through some rituals and sacrifices before we can get such things that we were looking for. Now, some of the things that I want to talk about now is something like a full pig, and then we will use it for the rituals in each of us church places. What we were going to do was to dig a hole and put the live pig in it and then cover it. In this way, after some incantations are done, when the animal is gotten rotten and is generating maggots, so would the members of the church be. So for that every 3 years, we would have to do it again, if we wanted the members to be consistent. And the next step where this woman here came in was the fact that we needed parts of a newly born baby for our sacrifice or ritual, if I should put it that way. Because that baby has tasted no sin in this world. It will be the perfect sacrifice or ritual that we can do. That is when we had to consult and make sure we get the child from the hospital. As for the baby, whether dead or alive, it was okay. Because we were going to use some parts to do that, and if dead, it will make perfect sense. So our contact with her was to get us one that has already lost his or her life, which will even make it simple for her. And I must say that, before this whole arrangement was done and we needed these things from this woman, I had my church and it was running very fine. The only problem with me and the church was that, I needed more, and I allowed my friend to convince me to get myself into all of these dark powers to rule this world and have fun just as some other pastors are doing. I will say that I became as desperate as any other thing, and I wanted to be just like them. You see, one thing I will say is that church nowadays is not like the church before. Church is purely business, but the only problem with this is that even the church members now, if you tell them about how the pastors are just milking on them, they will turn and attack you. I have seen it all in this journey of my life, both as usher and now as a pastor. But then, if you don't join them in doing what they are doing, that means you will not be getting any recognition, if that is what you want. So when we returned from the Benin, we were to get all the things that we will be using for the rituals. And as soon as we get them, the man will come and perform it for us. So when we came, we knew someone who we thought could help us, because she had already shown interest in it earlier when we told her. But when we returned, we got to know that she is at home, and she told us she can't be seen on the premises of the hospital. And that was when she gave us the number of this woman here so that we talk to her and see how far we can go with her. And we needed to find a way where we can buy her loyalty. This was when we decided to call her as random and let it be like it was a direction of God to give her the money just as she has already told you. And for someone to get such money for not doing anything, and knowing very well that more will be coming if he or she does her homework well, the possibilities of the person being loyal to you is very high. So that is the strategy that we used and allowed it to play till I met her, which she told you that she was even willing to go ahead and do anything that we were going to tell her, even though she didn't know for sure what the deal was. Because like I said, when you know that you will be getting more from someone who has already shown you that he will be willing to give you, you will definitely try to get into his food books.
You see, when he told me that they needed a newborn baby, I was shocked to the bone. I did not think for once that that is where the whole deal will go. I was really taken aback by that. And I asked him what he really wanted the baby for. He was somehow quiet for a while before he started saying that there was something very important that they needed to do, and the most important thing was for me to get the baby. Because they will let me know anything about what was going on. At first because they were pastors, and two because they were offering me these huge sums of money, I didn't say no to them. That one, I will have to emphasize on that. I allowed myself to be carried away by the money that I was going to get. So I told to him that they will have to give me between the day that we had discussion and a month's time. Which we all agreed it was okay for each parties. I went home that day and thought about everything that was said to me and the money I was going to get. I didn't think at that time there was anything wrong with it, since I was going to get them a dead body anyways. And by the way, the bodies, when they die, we either burn or bury them there, unless the family requests for the body. So with that in my mind, I didn't see why I shouldn't get them that and then go ahead and get my money. It had been like 5 days or so when we met and had our discussion, and then this man here called me and told me that he needed to meet me urgently. So, I went to meet him after work, and I was shocked to hear the things that he told me.
Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Indeed, I honestly do not know how to react to what our brother and sister told us. I can tell you for a fact that, throughout our conversation, I was looking at the woman with some angriness within me. How on earth can a woman of your age agree to do this to your fellow woman who has come to deliver in your hospital? And when she said that she was a Christian, I was hoping to hear that, anything they proposed to her, she rejected it. But I got my disappointment when I got to know that she actually agreed to go ahead with their plans. How wicked can people be, especially women to their own gender? Your fellow woman will come and give birth at the place where you work, and whether the baby survives or not, you are somewhere planning on how to sell that body to someone for things that you have no idea of. You see, at this point with what we do, I do not have to say to you, our listener and subscribers, to be very honest and careful with the kind of churches that you attend. Because some are really doing some diabolical things, all in the name of wanting to have power to perform miracles. And you'll also be victims to them because you have always wanted to be tricked. How is it that you go to this church and then you see people going other places for prayers? My question is, can't God hear your prayers when you pray in that your church? Again, can't God listen to you when you pray in your closets? What are we doing to ourselves? Please let us wake up and know that the devil is right inside the church with us, and we need to be very mindful of what we do and where we go. Told us. I always sometimes find things strange as to how far a person is willing to go just because of power. Please don't let your current situation pushes you into the wrong hands. I am begging you, I know what I am talking about. I said in our previous episode that there are a lot of red flags about so many of these pastors, but for some reason we tend to put them somewhere, and then because of the miracles they are performing, you all fall for their evil agenda. Please let us hear your thoughts on the comment section. I had so much to talk about, but I will restrain myself from talking. I don't know how to even put what I feel right now access to you. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Just like we always do in this house, please let us also hear from you, our beautiful family members. Let's listen to your views and concerns and comments in the comment section. Yes, just as we are here to share with ourselves what is going on out there, we do bring these conversations with you, our family members, to help their innocent brothers and sisters to realize what is happening out there, that they do not have any idea about, so that they can make their own decisions going forward in their day-to-day activities. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.